Alright, so going over the trade today, pretty good, pretty good day for trading, honestly. Step like even the macros outside our regular AM and PM macros. AM was not for trading today because of Powell speaking at at 9:30, I believe. Yeah, so Fed Chair Powell speaks at 9:30, July 1st. So if we go to the AM macro, you can see that it's not very ideal, but with this new the new way of the new way of approaching the markets on a higher time frame and keeping that higher time frame narrative going on my mind and coming to every day with that in the back, with that as my context, and coming into the macro and going into the low time frame with that higher time frame overlooking my bias. It gives me it now gives me a lot more confidence on taking trades towards that narrative. So today was such a day, even though the macro didn't provide any trades or didn't allow me to trade today because of the news. It gave me the confirmation that I needed for the rest of the day. So you can see here that on the macro, if I go to the 15-minute, so the biggest confluences that I wanted to keep an eye on is the previous week high and this displacement and this busy 15-minute busy through that previous week high that happened on Monday. And throughout Monday you could see the amount of manipulation and the amount of support that was there just below that previous week high. If the PXL narrative was going to play out, that should not have been broken through again. So we did retest it on Asian session on Monday, and then after taking the CE off this week, we do end up coming all the way back into this PC again. So already that gives me a bearish narrative for this previous week high, this level, the 22,820s. Just because the fact that we rejected the CE off this Monday closing wick. So from there on, London was straight consolidation within that busy, which again gives more indication that at the higher time frame or the high frequency algorithms are spooling liquidity in order to displace into one or the other directions. But in this case, based on the signatures we have so far, it is quite clear, based on the multiple levels of manipulation that's happening towards within that PWH, the most likely displacement that is likely to happen was a displacement into the previous week candle or downwards. So London ended up closing at as London started displacing down starting at 8 a.m. It comes down to those New York lows from Monday, and then what does New York do? We rebalance into the previous week high and a perfect rejection of that previous busy. So the PXL ended up becoming the PXH ended up becoming a PXL. So what's my narrative now, or what's my draw now? The New York Open. So after, and look at this, like where does this happen? Where does the rejection of the previous week high happen? In the macro, in the morning macro, which is perfect. So if I draw look at this. Where's the previous week high? The -4 standard deviation of the wick that we left off from wicking the wicking the 15-minute busy that displays through the previous week high. If I go to the 1 minute, what do we do after the rejection? It was straight drawing displacement into the new week opening gap at 22,751s, around 77 points. If I did take that trade, but as I said, no trades in the AM for me. Didn't even look at the charts. But did we have a reversal at the new week open? No. We ended up getting another PXL, continuing further downwards. So let me take that standard deviation off. So where are we now? So the new week open got rejected, like we said. And if I go to 30-minute now, we displaced through it quite strong, through 10:30 into 11, setting this 30-minute CB. And what did we sweep? We swept the previous Friday low right here, sell side liquidity swept from previous Friday. And what did ES do? ES is not anywhere close to that, so we have quite a large SMT. It did not even come down to the new week opening gap. ES did not even sweep the new week opening gap yet, so New York is still within this busy, the busy that displays through the previous week high. So quite a lot of divergence within the two indexes, which gives me a lot of confidence in taking a reversal within these within this previous Friday low sweeps. So I was looking at what we did from that order block, the 5-minute order block that swept the Friday lows just get respected. The sweep happened at 11 in the 11 a.m. macro, the 10:45 to 11:15 macro, and we displaced up, rebalanced, respected the order block's consequent encroachment, and displaced up again, up into the -2 to 2.5 standard deviation. Look at this, perfect, and it also lines up with that 30-minute CB. So the quick trade that I wanted to take was identifying what this 5-minute rebalance was doing over here, and is the 12 a.m. macro high going to get respected or not. So a PXH setup right there. So after that 5-minute rebalance, if you go down into the 1 minute, we had this CB here at 12:57, and at 12:58 we came down into the previous range high, closed above it, came down into the C of that wick and then displaced at 1 p.m. We're still within that CB, so no confirmations yet. Next candle, we ended up filling the CB, but closed below. But at 1:02 p.m., we displace and close above the 1257 CB. So now I'm getting some confirmation indicating a possible PXH continuation. So next candle end up respecting the busy, and then I took my entry at 1:04 p.m. Watch the 15-second price action. So entry was 1:04. We ended up respecting the busy, so I put my stops at the low that was created in the 15-second. Very tight stop, only 8 points, and it's also the C of that BC that we just displaced through. And I originally only wanted to target this within this BC or within this volume imbalance for a 1-to-1 or just above a 1-to-1. But as I see price action delivering like strongly, I wanted to go for the internal high, and in this case the internal high at 1255, which is 22,739. But given that we are still within that 30-minute CB, and SMTs are killers in these situations where you could get all the way back to your stop loss, edged by 1 or 2 points. Have gone through that before, so I just wanted to take the C off that wick just to be safe, and 17 points and 50 points for a 2.19 RR trade for a 1 p.m. macro, or 12 to 12:45 to 1.115 p.m. macro trade. I can't complain, honestly. Quite a clean trade in terms of execution and narrative, everything aligned, and I could have targeted the internal high here, but again, 1, 2, 3, 4 minute trade, 2.2 RR, that's all I need. And yeah, what do we do within that CB? We never broke above it, we're still consolidating within it, and we're now below it, back in that inversed busy. So yeah, that was the trade for today. Very happy with this top. 8-point stop is amazing, and if I did end up targeting the internal high, it would be a 2.53 RR trade, which is amazing. So went with 2 contracts, so I believe this trade was, yeah, just over 700 or just under 700 after commissions. Risk was 320. Yeah. Idea was to originally trade the PM session, given the news that we had in the morning, but given the setup that I had with this PXH and the narrative that I had, the standard deviation from those lows that we swept, everything lined up to take this opportunity. So that's a great risk to reward, I would say.